And welcome to the Opinionators, my friends. This is a live panel interactive discussion show and an opportunity for you to be a part of the show yourself. If you have an opinion, simply phone us at 905-645-3232, or you can email us at opinion@cable14.com. Now let's get started. This is an opportunity for you, the viewing audience, to phone in or email in and be a part of the topic of conversation tonight, which is the rising gas prices. Not so much an ecological discussion tonight, more about price gouging. Who's responsible? Who do we place the blame on? Tonight our opinionators are Joe Pavlov. We have Ron Corsini, Don Ross, and of course Dave Shuttleworth is back for a little bit more fun. Last week, we had an absolute freakout with gas prices, whereby when Hurricane Rita was just possibly going to hit, nobody really knew exactly where Hurricane Rita was going to hit. They knew that it was going to hit. They shut down some refineries, and there was a scare that gas prices were going to just be astronomical. Now, somebody tripped the switch, and there were a couple of gas stations that were charging either at or in excess of $2. When the smoke cleared the very next day, gas prices averaged off at only $1.05. Is that gouging? Therefore, who made the call to make that change, and who's responsible? It's not up to me. It's up to the opinionators, and it's up to you to get the show started. Let's get it on.
Buzz is not the only
if the money can go.
We have an opportunity to help out a disaster. We can't afford it.
To park in front of their house.
It's your major
Wait a second.
Come on.
That election law?
That's what they talked about. It happened.
The opinions expressed on the Opinionators are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Cable 14 nor its shareholders, Cogeco Cable, Mountain Cablevision, or Source Cable Limited.
Last week, gas prices went through the roof. Now, some people will say, well, that's because we don't have any gas, or because refineries are going or getting run down because of Rita. It may be because we don't have the resources and so on and so forth. But the reality is,
Cable 14
people that are actually running those gas stations made the decision last week to increase the price to over $2. I think it was $2.15 down in Grimsby area or something like that. It wasn't the company, it wasn't Esso, or it wasn't Shell or something like that. It was that independent dealer that decided to raise those prices, and that was gouging. There's just no question in my mind that was absolute gouging and taking advantage of the public to the worst degree. I think that we have lots of resources. What we don't have is refining capacity to get those resources once they come out of the ground, to refine them, to get them to the service stations and so on and so forth. And I really believe that's one of the reasons that the gas prices have gone up. It's not because, I guess partially because of Katrina, partly because of Rita, but the prices were going up before that. So I really believe that it's the refining capacity in North America that's creating a bit of a problem for us.
Don, the reason that we don't have refining capacity in Canada is because there have been no refineries built in the last 30 years because it's a dying industry. Oil is a non-renewable resource in decline. We're running out of oil. We've reached peak oil globally. Pardon me, we've reached peak oil, I think, in the 70s in North America, and we reached peak oil globally somewhere between 2000 and 2005. I started driving in 1999, and I think I was paying 49 cents a liter then, and it's doubled in my short driving career. I have a really different opinion than I think pretty much everybody out there, and maybe everybody on this panel for sure.
Let's hear it.
I think rising gas prices are a fabulous thing, and I think that when prices rise, it changes behavior, and that we are too dependent on gas as a culture, North American culture, American specifically, Canada as well. If what this North American culture needs is a kick in the pants, and for people to get hit where it hurts, which is in the pocketbook, then perhaps they'll move closer to where they work, or they won't go to the big box stores. They'll shop locally. I drive, but I live downtown and I work downtown, so I took my car off the road this summer as a result of rising gas prices. And I'm not saying I'm, aren't I fabulous. I'm just one person doing one little thing. My behavior changed as a result of rising gas prices, and I think it's a good thing. Dave?
Well, with the situation last week, based just on the speculation that we could be paying 25 to 30 cents extra, just on that idea that it might happen overnight. I think it was a purely logical thing that people would go to the gas pumps and fill up when they could, thus the lineup. Totally logical. I would agree that there is lots of gas, And gas is from the bloated federal government that we have in Ottawa that is not going to drop the excise tax on the GST on the excise tax, the tax on the tax. All they have to do is drop that, at least for the time being, and put some money back in our pockets. Now, you've got the government that is talking out of both sides of their mouths, which is not an uncommon thing with the Liberals in Ottawa. You've got one that they're saying, no, this tax is good because it goes back to the cities, goes back to the municipalities to fix the roads and pay for more sustainable development within these municipalities. And then the very next minute they're saying, well, if we did drop it and try to put money in pockets of Canadians, they wouldn't really feel it because it's not all that much money anyway. So which is it? We need the government to step in to make sure that we're not being gouged and make sure that there's a sustainable amount of fuel there for us so that we're not faced with these price hikes overnight of 30 cents. Ron.
Well, this is all a pain in the gas to me. The whole thing about the increased prices, you know, for every cent that gas goes up, it means $40 million in federal revenue. And it would be nice to see some of this revenue given back to the municipalities more so. And I would just like to see more of this money brought back to us. Give everyone a check, to every driver in the province. But not only that, something along the lines that Joe said, it's going to make people think differently on how they drive. Maybe they'll drive a 4-cylinder car, a new hybrid car, like the mayor's talking about purchasing. More of the city's fleet are going to hybrid and gas-saving cars. But we have the technology here for hydrogen-powered cars, better hybrid cars, and let us less depend on the gas and non-renewable resources such as oil. So I think there are ways out there. Go ahead.
The problem is that the automotive industry is not geared to change like that and say, you know what, we're going to change and we're going to have hybrid cars tomorrow.
How long
or
does
we're
it take?
Years, absolutely years. Well, they have to design. No. There's only hybrid cars are only being made right now, I believe, by some Japanese companies. Toyota has one.
Ford has
one.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, think in terms of General Motors makes something like 28 different kinds of vehicles, maybe more than that. Ford makes 28 different kinds of vehicles or more. Toyota makes 28, or I mean, and on it goes. And I just can't see them turning. I mean, I believe they will. I believe they want to. I believe they see the need. And as a result of what's taking place, maybe in what's the price of gas, and if people start driving less or they start actually converting to a 4-cylinder car as opposed to a 6-cylinder or an 8-cylinder car, then you may see the industry say, well, you know what, I think we better catch up, which is unfortunate because they should be leading. But I think they may end up catching up.
Because people are consistently buying SUVs. I mean, just this year,
no,
it was only in this past year that it actually leveled off, so that people weren't buying as many SUVs. So people still want that. People are still buying gas-guzzling cars, and if consumers are going to dictate that in this society where the consumers dictate what is bought and what is sold, then we're not going to have these hybrid cars anytime soon. It's great that they're in the prototype stage, and it's wonderful that mayors and political officials and whomever are talking about how they're test driving these vehicles, and that's all wonderful, right? But they're much more expensive. They're going to be a long time before the price gets dropped. The average consumer is not thinking about buying a hybrid vehicle. They're thinking, what is the bottom line? How much do I need to pay? And how much is it going to cost me for a month? And how much?
Or they're going to have to go to more diesel-powered cars in Europe.
But they don't have that in North America. That's the problem.
We do have them here, but they're not buying them.
No. Oh, no. I don't think that's true. They do not make a lot of diesels. I mean, General Motors doesn't make a lot of diesels. In fact, I don't know if they make any diesels in North America, to be honest.
Is that not more environmentally hazardous to be burning off diesel?
I think the diesels have come a long way.
What happens?
You know what, though, speaking of diesel, the trucking industry is about to take a huge hit. And don't forget that every single thing that we eat, buy, purchase, do, the
Yes.
clothes on our backs are
Yes.
all trucked
Yes.
in from,
Wherever.
a port that was probably made in China, shipped to the port of Vancouver, whatever, and then trucked over, to Hamilton, Ontario. People are complaining, I know I've heard this a lot in my travels in the last few months, that food prices are going to go through the roof.
They
And
will.
my reaction to that,
hit on everything.
hear me out. I used to live in the Arctic, the Canadian Arctic, and of course we had cargo rates attached to absolutely everything we bought. And if it was heavy, it cost. So 3 bags of milk at that time in 1995 was $10. And I remember a case of pop, because I love pop, I'm a pop drinker. It was $48, $2 a can. And you just learned to like Kool-Aid, and you just learned to like powdered milk. You just had to change your behavior to reflect the rising prices.
Or you move away from the Arctic. Joe.
Well,
and you did. You came south.
Right, but I mean, with the rising fuel costs now of trucking, a Hamiltonian is going to be paying $10 for 3 bags of milk, and the powdered milk industry is going to go through the roof.
I'm not
sure that's true.
I am not for the government. It's rarely going to see me say, let's get the government in and control the free market. But in a situation like this, where the government profits so much, as you heard Ron with the figure of about $40 million
For every penny.
For every penny.
that prices go up. And the federal government, I think, has an obligation to step in and say, this has got to stop. We have to figure out who's doing this, who's making the money, why.
I disagree. I disagree. The federal government
You talk about a low-income family, who has to get from point A to point B. You're dropping the kids off here. You're doing whatever. You got to get to work. You got to make a living. You have to go places, right?
You can't expect the government to come in and say, you know what, we're going to lower the price on gas because, and whether I agree or disagree, I'd probably agree with the federal government right now when they say if we lower the price on gas by 2 pennies or something, that'll be just eaten up by the big corporate. I mean, they'll just go swallow it up. You won't even notice it. What I would prefer to see is what Ron said, which is you say that the government makes brings in $40 million, then what you do is you then say, I'm going to cut a check, a rebate, or I'm going to let you write it off on your income tax so that you get a benefit. And say you cut it off at, say, 100,000. Anybody over 100,000 can't write anything off.
But the trick that they have in there,
but that's the way of doing it.
They set a floor whereby if it goes any lower than this price, then we're not going to cut that check. So the price is fluctuating daily, and these days it's very volatile. You're over $1 by $1.05 one day, you might be 98 one day, you might be $1.07. So I mean, the government would then have the freedom to say, well, if it keeps going, if it goes below this price, then we're not going to cut that check. So for X amount of days.
By the way, Alberta just cut those checks. I don't know if you guys know it.
Yes, they did.
Well, if you were sitting on an oil well and had an $8 billion surplus.
I wonder what the price of
They're gonna
gas
have
would
a
be
bigger-
if it was allowed to rise to what it actually costs to extract oil from the ground. And Europeans pay a fortune for oil, as you know, way more than we do. Makes me think maybe our oil is being subsidized by the government. Maybe it's already artificially suppressed because it costs a lot.
We tried to artificially suppress it 20 years ago.
Well, what I'm saying is it costs, with peak oil having reached, I watched a documentary, End of Suburbia. Here's where I'm talking from.
Okay.
It costs X number of dollars to suck the oil out of the ground.
Right.
When you drill an oil well, it spews out at first. Very cheap to get it out of the ground. As you drill deeper and deeper, you got to start sucking it to get it out of the ground. The Alberta oil sands, I know for a fact, are a 3-to-2 ratio, which means it takes 2 units of energy to extract 3 units of oil. So it costs a lot to get oil out of the ground.
Sure does.
It costs a lot more than I think people really realize. Probably a lot more than $1 a liter.
Okay,
Well,
so you're happy. I mean, it's fine that you're taking the bus to work, that you have been driving, you parked your car for the whole summer, and it's a very noble thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I mean, you cannot expect every
Yes, you can.
individual. No, you can't.
Yes,
you
you
cannot
can.
expect every.
not
in
real-
this
it's not
society.
realistic.
Not in
Not
this
today.
It's
It's not realistic.
With Ancaster and Flamborough expanding to the capacity
transit.
that
We
they
live
are.
in steel town.
Yeah.
Build rail. Build rail. Hello, European cities have been doing it for years.
No, European cities are built
The
differently than
They're
North
built for
American.
pedestrians,
concentration.
cyclists.
No, but the
They started off and
concentration,
they built
you can't just,
differently than we are.
and it bugs me to no end when people say, "Oh, why don't we just do what the Scandinavians do and it'll be
Yeah,
that
yeah.
simple? Why don't we just do
Well,
what
it's not
Europe
simple.
does?"
I'm not
have a
claiming it's
4,000
simple.
We
mile
have
country,
exactly
you know,
the
and I
concentration
mean,
of
if
the
you happen to
population.
work
Okay,
in
let's
Toronto
take Southern
or-
Ontario. Let's use Southern Ontario as our test bed
Okay.
for a rail system that works.
But listen,
But we
when I
still
worked in
have
Toronto, when I
huge
worked in
rural
Toronto,
areas
I
in
took
Southern
the train.
Ontario.
Yeah,
Makes
most
sense.
Torontonians do.
No,
That's
makes,
how about
makes
Mississaugan?
sense.
or
Well, you
Oakville.
can't because they don't have the rail
Well,
there.
that's
okay?
what I'm saying.
If you work north Toronto and by the airports, there's no rail. You have to drive. There's no way else to get there.
Suburban
You know,
sprawl.
so
somehow.
We
suburban
love
sprawl.
our cars.
We do,
Don't you
absolutely.
get it? People
We
in
do.
North America love our cars.
You know that they
We
built
wanna
over
drive-
16 million vehicles last year?
Yeah.
In fact, they have for the last 10 years, every single year, 16 million, 16 million, 16 million.
My biggest shame
I mean,
in life is that
really.
I love my car. And I'm
Good for
embarrassed
you.
to say it, because I love it in a way that I shouldn't love it. But I'm spoiled. I'm addicted to it, and I think like
Well,
any
obviously
addiction,
not, though. Obviously,
like
if you
any
can- if you
addiction.
can park it
It's
for,
a necessity.
You know, for
You want to
as
know
long as
something
have
for a
this,
fact, Dave? I'll tell you this.
What's that?
On smog days, I drove because I have asthma and I can't walk in the smog.
Right.
On rainy days, I was like, maybe I'll just drive today. I walk most of
So
the
now you've
time.
answered your own question. You cannot expect society as a whole to say, I'm going to park my car and I'm going to do
No,
this.
if it was taken away from me, I lived without a car for
Because we're going to get smog,
27
especially here in
years of
Hamilton.
my life.
Especially here in Hamilton, we are going to get smog regardless of how many cars are on the road.
Prior to me owning a car, I did take the bus. And prior to me owning a car, I coped. I would get a little mask or whatever, or I would, you cope. Societies cope when they have no other options, and pretty soon we're going to have no other options. Do you have a caller?
No, we don't, but I'm just going to give out
Bring
the
it
phone
up.
numbers. It's a great idea.
We'd love to have some callers.
645-3232, 645-3232. We would give the email address. We're having a little bit of technical problems. Email Joe's palm, and we'll get it on the air as fast as possible. How are the gas prices affecting you? Did you get gouged last week? Do you feel that you got gouged? What is the answer to lowering gas prices? We want your opinion here in the Opinionator, 645-3232.
You know, on the morning of the long lineups, I woke up 7 o'clock listening to the radio in the morning, and the media hype. I believe the media caused that panic.
Well, it's
because
no,
I
they
was,
didn't.
I was
They
in.
didn't.
Oh, I
yes,
believe
they
so.
did.
I
Oh,
was in line.
absolutely.
I was in. On my way to work. Every gas station that I passed, I was surprised I didn't see more accidents around
they were lined
gas
up.
stations and around corners. There were huge lineups at every. It was like we were giving the gas away, or we weren't going to be able to buy gas the following day. And it was the media in the morning speculating, or someone said that gas the next day was going to shoot up 50
It was word of
cents
mouth. It was
a
word of
liter.
mouth.
Well, it's-
And
well, no,
I
but
was
what
in
they
that
were doing-
lineup
no,
because I needed to buy gas.
Yeah, me too.
I was on
I
it.
got
I
99
needed to
cent
buy
gas
gas.
that
Yeah.
day.
Well, no, I needed to. My gas light happened to have gone on. I'd rather not waited a half an hour while a guy with a pickup truck filled out 2 jerry cans in front of me. But I mean,
Yeah, there
such-
were people
such-
with
Because they were
But
panicking. They
But
were
it was,
panicking.
no, it was an entirely logical situation. Based, like it happened with Katrina. Gas prices went up 28 cents overnight. Right now, you factor that over 50, 60 liters, you're paying a fair amount of dollars, extra dollars for the same gas that you'd have bought the day before. So what happened last Thursday evening when people lined up for gas? It was an entirely logical thing because you don't want to pay $8, $10, $12, $25 extra gas. So of course you're going to line up if it's going to be $1.30 tomorrow, but it's 98 cents right now. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to line up and buy gas.
You know what? I was coming back from north of Guelph camping, and I was driving down Highway 6, and I saw the price of gas as I entered towards Hamilton. It just continually got more expensive as I drove towards Hamilton. I saw gas at one station at 97 cents, and I drove back. I drove by it, and a couple of blocks ahead of me, there was gas at $1.01. Well, what I did was I turned around and I went back and I topped up my tank for 97 cents. And as I
save
got
4
towards
cents.
Hamilton, it was about a two,
$2
three block
savings?
drive out of my way for 3 cents per liter.
I know. How
savings.
big's your tank?
And
Big tank. If you're not concerned about the small dollar,
you know what?
you're
But
never going to be
but
concerned
it got
about
to
the
a
big
point
dollar.
where you start looking at the prices that are posted around. You can go to different websites where you can find cheap gas in and around the city, and people will drive out of their way. I don't know if the saving now is that much more if you drive across the border and you happen to buy gas in Niagara Falls, New York, or Buffalo, New York, whether with the American exchange is it still cheaper because gas over there is $3 a gallon. But here, we've never seen prices this high. And so this is the topic of conversation by the water cooler every single day about gas prices. People are comparing where they bought gas. And so I'm surprised that some of our listeners who are listening now, if they found a place, a gas station, below $1 today, let us know because I need gas. And
Ron,
he's going after the
I have
show.
never
He's
in my
going to
life
get
turned
them.
around and driven to buy, I don't know, to me, 4 cents a liter, even if it was the difference of 4 cents a liter, David was just mentioning to me. Okay, I never let it get below half a tank anyways because I'm a wiener, but
You're
okay.
just a perfect
Oh, I'm
person.
always.
I'm
You live
not.
in this utopia where you never
I'm paranoid. I never want to run out of gas. So when my gas tank hits half,
my little gas thing goes ding, 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 ding. I
Yes,
say, oh, I
right.
need gas.
That's right.
I'm buying a
Anyway,
diesel.
How far am I from my gas station?
30 liters at 4 cents is what? Like $1.20? Is my math correct? $1? You drove 20
40
minutes out
liters,
of your
44
way?
liters, 45
$2,
liters.
$3?
Well, whatever it is, I just refuse. I'd better
It's principle.
$2 in my pocket than $2 in
Somebody else's.
Esso's pocket or
No,
whatever.
I'm just in the habit of paying what things cost, and I think I learned that in the Arctic. And it's
You
it's
don't
a
shop.
strange-
You don't shop when there's a sale.
Not really.
Oh,
I sort of
geez.
pay what things cost. And you know what? When you shop
I'm
locally,
surprised.
which as I'm trying to get people to do, yes, I could drive out to the Ancaster Power Center and go to the Zellers Power Center and buy something for 99 cents that maybe costs $1.29 in downtown Hamilton. But you know what? You're giving your business to a downtown Hamilton business. And I'm very passionate about that. And I know I sound like a bit of a
But I think it's an issue
Pollyanna.
altogether because we've had the debate about downtown Hamilton. But the fact of the matter is gas prices continually go up.
So that you can drive to the suburbs, to big box
yeah,
stores.
You know, and I'm not driving to the suburbs.
you.
I know a lot of people that do, and I'm not going to fault them for that. But gas is one of those issues where somebody at the end of the line is getting richer and richer and richer. So I think it's an obligation on our part as consumers to find the cheapest price possible, because you know it's just going to continually go up, and you're rarely going to get a break with the price of gas. So why not turn around like Ron did and go find a 2 cents
This is
cheaper
this
or
North
0.5
American
cents cheaper?
car culture is what I'm saying. If you didn't have that option, you would pay what it costs. And when I lived in the Arctic,
We do have the option.
The point is
but
we
pretty
have the
soon you
option.
won't
No,
with
no,
gas.
it's not.
Okay,
No.
let me tell you, there are no more
No.
refineries
Not
being
at all.
built. I heard that any billionaire in the world who wants to sink his money into a profitable organization is not going to sink his money into oil because it's a dying industry. So why on earth would they refine more oil when it costs more to extract out of the earth? And it's more, the price is only going to go up. It's not a money-making venture.
The car manufacturing industry does not support that argument. They're still manufacturing
Right.
bigger cars. Yes.
I know that's
with
what
bigger
they
gas
People are
call
still buying them.
Four-wheel drive is the cool thing to have, and
Look,
automatic
I just bought
transmission.
four-wheel drive.
And automatic
Look how many
transmission.
Hummers there are.
Exactly.
Look how many Hummers there are.
We are not at war. Well, that's
Yeah,
another
well.
issue. But we don't need to have Humvees on the road. But people are buying them because they're cool, and it's cool to drop your kids off at a soccer match because in this
I was
SUV because it's
driving
bigger than the
down-
minivans.
I think it was Stone Church. And every single driveway except two, there's an SUV. And
Oh, I've seen
every single, I'm thinking, wow.
Yeah.
Have things have really changed?
It's a
So-
brainwash. It's
No,
a
really, no,
mass
but things have
brainwash.
really
it
changed.
doesn't-
But it just
That's
tells
what
you
they
that
want.
It doesn't.
doesn't-
Who do you know? You're not driving by every driveway on Stone Church and seeing a hybrid car.
No, absolutely
You're
not.
seeing a gas
You know what?
guzzling
I bought a
automobile.
car.
Yeah.
I bought a new car 2 months ago, and I'm the Green Party candidate. I'm the big mouth. Oh, I walk to work. If anybody should have been buying a smart car, it should have been me. If anybody should have been
Right.
buying a hybrid, it should
They're
have
too
been me.
expensive.
Too expensive. The smart car. On the bright side, I do come from a pretty green family. I do take my mother, my father, my sister places. So I needed a 4-seater. 2-seater
Right.
would have been lovely. Those little smart cars are cute. So yeah, what did I do? I went and bought a
Don't
four.
get an accident.
I
Bought a
was smart.
4x4 big gas guzzling V8.
That's not what I bought. I bought a
What people
four-wheel.
are buying.
Well, I guess you gotta weigh your. I try and be sensitive to the fact that nothing is going to change tomorrow. But
No, it's not.
when I was in the market to buy a car, I bought the most fuel efficient one that I could, considering my needs. I choose not to drive it as often as I can, as when I don't need to. I try and come on shows like this and try and encourage people to do likewise.
Yeah, well, and that's right. I took the bus.
No, it is.
I
It
took
is
the
very
bus
nice,
today,
but-
and I'm not bragging about it, but and we have.
You
I'm
should
in a
be
one
bragging about
car,
it.
Well, no, because
You're in a one-car family. You should be
one-car
bragging
family,
about that.
and that's great. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to criticize someone if they want to buy a car. I mean, again, the market dictates. If people are interested in this, and I can build a product that people are going to buy,
And then
it
they
happens
squawk
to
when the
consume
prices go
more-
up. What did they think was going to happen?
Well,
gas prices go up. That's what they do.
Well, I'm buying a diesel. Next car, I'm buying a 4-cylinder
I'm not.
diesel.
I just bought another car.
No, well,
Big
what you need to
V8.
do, no, what you
a
need to
V6.
do, no,
It's an
because
Impala.
we are being gouged by someone, and I don't know who it is. But you go to the pump, and you whine and complain to the the person at the kiosk, and this is highway robbery. This is ridiculous. And they're saying, well, what am I supposed to do? But having said that, last week we had an incident, and it wasn't at an independent retailer. It was at Winona. It wasn't at an independent retailer. It was at a major name retailer where the individual just
in that kiosk,
right?
He got fired,
and he got fired because of new management, and that's wonderful. But what does that do? What does that do for the argument for someone anywhere else saying, "Don't shoot the messenger here. I have to raise the prices based on what I'm told."
And they were lined up buying it at 2 something.
Right, I know. I can't believe it. So there you go. That argument is complete. That argument is completely shot down about the individual in that gas station at that time, because they have lots demonstrated.
Listen, by the way, we have lots of gas. Yeah. We have lots of gas for years and years to come. Yeah. There's lots of time for the auto industry and for other industries to get on the bandwagon and change things and make things different. And it will slowly, I think, happen. But it'll be a long time coming. I really believe that in North America, we are just a car culture. Mm-hmm. We love our car. And I have to tell you that if you talk to some of my friends who have a husband and wife and 2 children, and they're both of driving age, there are 4 cars sitting in that driveway. They're not 1-car families. And as a result, the auto industry is building 16 million automobiles or vehicles every single year. Mm-hmm. And why? Because people are buying.
And cars are lasting longer too. They're just buying them.
And in Europe, they're building about 16 million vehicles in Europe.
That's right. And
China is building like hundreds of thousands of vehicles.
And 1 in 7 cars is 10 years or over. And so they're obviously not as fuel efficient as the cars they're building these days. So you know what? I refute your argument completely at this point.
The other thing we need to discuss.
Whatsoever.
Wait, hold up.
No, it's
the other thing we need to discuss are gas prices, natural gas
I'm glad
prices
you two are sitting together. This is very good.
Home heating. This is something we're going to need to discuss next half. Home heating costs, which is natural gas prices, which is...
Well, a good point was brought up, and that was by Don Ross. He did bring up maybe there's a bit of a conditioning that we're in right now. We were conditioned at one point, Americans and Canadians alike, kind of in the same sort of melting pot here, to love our cars. That was one of the things that Joe said. She loves her car in almost an unnatural way. We've been born to love our cars, to everyone own a car, and to make them bigger, make them stronger, make them faster, make them with more cylinders. There's 12-cylinder Hemis out there. We've been conditioned to love cars. Are we now being conditioned to start loving gas at over $1 a liter? Back in the day when we were spending $59.9 on gas, when it went down to 56, people were just lining up, driving, almost like Ron said, driving out of their way to try and get gas at 56 cents a liter because it was called a plummet when it would go down 3 cents. Now gas, as Dave said, is as volatile as it's ever been, going up and down by almost as much as 28 cents a liter. Could this be a brand new conditioning? Is it a conditioning that's based on gouging? We'll find out on the other side on the Opinionators. Cable 14 is proud to bring you the stories which reflect your community. Our unique programming is made possible thanks to the funds provided by your local cable companies, Source Cable Limited, Mountain Cablevision, and Cogeco Cable.